Welcome, everybody, to the One State Solution podcast. My name is Alon.
I'm Elik.
We are both anti-Zionists, even though it says Israel on our passport.
Yeah.
And today, the date is, what is the date, Elik?
7th of October, 2024.
Yes, which is exactly 1 year after the attack that Hamas and other Palestinian organizations carried out against Israel, which was, I think, a very significant date in both our lives and also in history in general, right?
Yeah. I feel like I'm not the same person I was in many different, and the world, it's not just me. It's not even me. Like the world I'm living in is not the same world. Even it is like, it's kind of, but I think it's also not the same world, but it also made us awake to the world we're living in much more and to how horrible and ugly it is. And I think that's experience of many people.
So, I don't know, I feel like before October 7th, I was already aware to a high extent to the situation in Palestine, to the occupation. But even though I was very aware of what was going on, I feel like the last year, my understanding and my connection with what is going on here has become like immeasurably more deep, more rich, more wide. Like just us doing this podcast and the other podcast that we have, Yalla, where we host a lot of guests that we talk about what's going on with them, and they bring their own knowledge and understanding. And to me, it helped me understand much more what is going on here. And also just casual, random conversations with you, with other friends like Dan and Dayalet that we had on our podcast, with my girlfriend Tamar, that just we talk and we talk and we talk, and this helps me process what is going on. And now I'm much more aware of the history, of the context, the global context of what is going on here, of also like just everyday details of what is going on. And I think also what happened on October 7th really exposed a lot of the currents in Israeli society that were hidden right under the surface, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like in few months, no, in it happened so quickly that all the way I looked on my society changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still recovering and start trying to understand how I look about this place that I grew up in, but it's like, a lot of time people, like I always have this thing about making the drama about myself, because I know I have this sometimes a bit narcissistic way. I don't know if it's a Western way we grew up, like thinking that everything is all about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an artist, which makes me even more,
Yes.
how do you say, susceptible to this narcissist virus that we all have in some way, I think,
Yes.
I think it's both. I don't know if it's natural or it's the culture we grew up in,
I think like
but
everything, it's a combination of a natural
yeah,
tendency, and the culture is taking this natural tendency and making it just emphasizing it, you know?
yeah. But I feel I have it and I struggle with it. Like, you know, when I suffer, and it's always when I suffer and get to this depression, it's because in some way I think it's about myself. I noticed it. It's every time. And the moment I release and I was like, it's not about you, suddenly the questions become more, what do I do? And and that's it, you know, and it is what it is. And I know that a lot of time I'm cutting, like making it about myself. But anyway,
Yes.
I cannot ignore what the situation that in 1 month, all the way I looked about the society, the family, the friends, the memories, my memories got revisited. I look
Yes.
at my memories differently.
Yes.
And I'm trying to understand if I don't know what happened to me. You know, someone can look from the outside and say maybe it's a traumatic response to something, but no, but yeah, because I am in a perpetual secondary trauma for a year, and all of us, all the people who experiencing this, and what they it's the horrors that they are doing is to the Gazans, but it's also to us. And when I fight it, I have anger that is also, what the fuck did you do to me? Like, what did you do to my world? What, like, they're doing it to us. They're killing us, and we're angry from also personal, selfish point of view. Like when I'm
Yes.
angry at the people who are committing this, and then the people who are ignoring this.
Yes.
And I carry it with me, you know, and it's hard. Like, and now I have to go back to Israel and to occupied Palestine.
Yes.
And it's still, you know, the people that I love are there, and it's including like you and our other friends. But I also have still people that I love there, but I'm still afraid to meet them. And like, I I feel like since 7th of October, I don't have a homeland anymore. Like, I don't know what happened, but it makes me feel like I don't have a safe home. I don't have a home that I feel this is my homeland and I feel okay to be here. But it is my home, but it's kind of stolen from me. And and I wonder if it's like hanging a lot with Palestinians now, you know, in the US, like diasporic Palestinians is for them like the core experience is that their home is stolen from them. And I think it happens to a lot of people who speak for the you feel it's been done to you also. Like you feel like, yeah, I don't have a home now. That's a fact. Like I have people who I love, but the place itself, I feel like it's stolen by something, and until this something is, you know, released, it's not gonna be, I have to fight for it to be my home, but it's not my home yet.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. I agree. I had this experience in the last year many times. And I must say that what you're saying now, I've been feeling to some extent all my life. Okay. But I feel like I only realized what I was feeling, what these feelings were in the last year by processing the situation here and understanding the context of what's going on here. And this specific feeling of just, being in Palestine, in Israel. And the thing is, it's just words, it's just names, but no, these words, these names, uh, they are connected to an attitude to the place. And I realized that whenever I call this place Israel, it's a certain attitude towards this place. And whenever I call this place Palestine, it's a different attitude towards this place. And I had this experience many times in the last year that I am in occupied Palestine. I'm driving around or walking around or just looking out the window. And I see two things, two very distinct things. I see Israel, and Israel is ugly. Israel is like buildings, like suburban buildings, or like skyscrapers, or like huge advertisements, or I don't know,
Or
just
fascist
shopping malls.
signs that you occasion, or fascist signs that you occasionally see.
Yes, big, huge Israeli flags or huge
Yeah,
banners that say "Together we will win" or something
yeah.
for the Messiah or whatever, and shopping malls and just things that are made of metal and have like straight lines and are way too big and way too extravagant and made of concrete and are noisy and are dirty, or they're clean but in a very sterile way. Like everything is ugly, ugly, ugly. This is one
But
part.
aren't you romanticizing it a bit? Because you know, if Palestine is gonna be free Palestine, it's also gonna have malls and buildings.
So,
Like, you know, if
so
when I'm realistically speaking, you know, the Palestinians are human beings that will want to do
yes,
shoppings.
yes. Let's talk about this for a moment.
Yeah,
I don't think that Palestine will be free if Palestine has shopping malls. I don't think anywhere that has shopping malls is a
I
free
get
place.
you. I get
I
you.
I am an anti-capitalist. I am an anarchist, and I think shopping malls are the antithesis of freedom. That's what I think. This is a different subject, but I think it's connected.
Yeah,
It's connected. Like
yeah.
if you think about, okay, so they always told us,
Because I wanted just to enforce what you say more, why
yes,
more and more becoming more radical,
yes,
because they see like this system, the capitalist, the crony statist capitalist system, um, they see it and they see that this is what causing the genocide in Gaza.
exactly,
So
exactly.
if you have and you want to eliminate, and we knew that people try to learn after genocides of the past and to do some surface things to change it, and then genocides happen again and again and again. So a lot of us like radicalism became a necessity. This
Yes.
is part of what the October 7th did to a lot of people.
So I must say that for me, this happened before. And one
Yeah.
of the way it happened in many ways, and I think people are waking up through many different avenues. Okay.
Also to me, but like it's like accelerated it, let's say.
Yes, yes. But I must say that to me, it was already accelerated 13 years ago when I went vegan and I started seeing
Yeah,
another thing that was ugly, which is
yeah,
human supremacy and humans eating, literally eating animals, literally killing them, murdering them, and eating their corpses. This is something, and the more I looked at it, the more I was appalled by it. The more I was appalled by humanity, the more I was appalled by our capitalist system that puts all non-human animals at the bottom and uses everybody, but uses non-human animals in a way that is so extreme, like literally using their entire being, completely. So this radicalized me a lot. And yes, seeing October 7th and seeing what followed radicalized me even more. And I
yeah.
think maybe we should generalize and say that we should look at what's going on around us and let it. So there's like two different attitudes that you can have when you see something horrible happening around you or somewhere.
Hmm.
You can go like the fascists go, the fascist supporters go. They go, okay, so this is just the way things are. This is the way people are. This is the way the world is. Horrible things are going to happen. So we need to protect ourselves. We need to participate in this game of horribleness and do enough horrible things so that the horrible things won't happen to us, but to others. This is one attitude, and this is the attitude of Zionists to the letter. And I think
But
another...
let's be fair, that's the attitude of most people.
Yes.
I think. Let's
Yes,
say,
that is true.
and like the Zionist, it's just easier to see it because of the extreme situation you're in. And you know, I feel it's kind of, yeah, but I don't know. I feel like Zionist, like every person, you know, what is Zionist? I feel sometimes that even when I meet people here in the US, they just don't care about it. And when you talk to them, they say, yeah, like Muslims and Jews killing themselves forever.
Yes.
They're also Zionist. And it's not because they believe in Zionism, but it's kind of it's the thing you described, you
Yes.
know? And
Yes.
so maybe we need to look deeper than Zionism and not Zionism. It's
I
the
agree. Zionism
attitude.
is just a symptom, like a symptom
Yeah.
of a very sick society, like an end result of something. And this is what we were about to talk about. But I just want to, I have like 5 sentences that I didn't finish.
Ah,
So
sorry.
so let's go back to the last one. So one approach is this, and another approach is to say, okay, this horrible thing is happening. What is the root cause of why this thing is happening? Let's go to the root cause and heal that. And this is called
Yeah.
radicalism. Why?
Yeah.
Because radix just means root. It just means that. It means root. So you go to the root cause of things and you try to heal it's like if someone has a disease, you can treat their symptoms in a superficial way, or you can go to the cause of the disease, and if you heal the cause of the disease, then the disease will be healed and not just the symptoms. So this is why we believe in a radical approach. Okay, so let's go back and say, okay, Zionism is just a very superficial symptom. It's horrible. You see it and it's horrible, but it's a superficial symptom of something much bigger. And this is this system you were talking about. And this genocide is just an end result of something much deeper. And I think that if I want to define this something deeper, I think it's the desire of certain people to have power, and their they created a system in which they have the power and they brainwash many people. Not just the Zionists are brainwashed, but so many people are brainwashed to continue to cooperate with this system and also cornered into it. It's not just that they brainwash you, they also put you in a material situation in which you have no choice. I'm an anti-capitalist, but still I use money. You know, I need to use money. I need to buy food. I need to eat, right? I need to have a place to sleep. I need to have clothes. I need to have all the basic necessities for life. And it's, in my mind, impossible to get it without cooperating with this capitalist system that I hate so much. So like the material conditions also make you cooperate with these things, and then we all find ourselves as part of this machine, this horrible machine that is causing so much suffering, so much pain, so much violence, so much war, so much killing, and it's causing it to us as well, and it's taking away our freedom, and it's very hard to understand how to liberate ourselves from this system.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It feels like that most of us feel like that liberation, true liberation from the system that we live in is like impossible, and we are now talking about it. And you know that there are people who live off the grid and somehow created an alternative life, but most of the people I know are not doing it now. But maybe at some point, you know, we will have to do something about like that. And I'm feel like first time in my life that I really want to think seriously, I feel I'm being dishonest when I'm saying life outside the system is impossible.
If
I
you haven't
feel it
tried.
just I didn't research.
Yes.
And maybe, I don't want to open a business and know that my tax and to be slave in many ways, also slave of making more money, and also slave to keep, and it never ends. And also, that part of your money is taken to commit genocide somewhere, and it's all everything like you're a slave to it. And I think, okay, like maybe there's another way to live, and maybe
Yes.
we're not creative enough,
Yes.
and maybe we're just not imaginary enough, and not and didn't give it much time and effort. I don't know. Like I know there's people who are doing stuff, and I know now that this journey that I have kind of is over. I know, like, I don't want to be a slave to a day-to-day job. I don't want to be a slave to start to try to cover some house somewhere that is too expensive, and then you cannot be activist.
Yes.
I cannot just go in the street and sing songs about genocide and wake up, because I have to work, and it's all built so we don't live our full potential,
Yes. And if
and
you
we
get in
don't.
trouble, you lose your job, right? So
Yeah,
your livelihood
and
is
we
dependent on not getting in trouble, which means not telling the truth to power, right?
Yeah, and all of us are locked in this situation where we have too much and we have too less at the same time.
Yes.
We have many things we don't need, but we lack intimacy, we lack connection, we lack meaning, and we also in a scare that we're gonna lose it, so we have to work in jobs that we don't like to keep it.
Yes.
And somehow in all this and everything, I look here, I travel in the US, I look here and I see everyone is like these units that, it's really weird to be here. Like the only situation that I feel sometimes in the street, like nice and warmth, is when I interact here with homeless people.
Mm.
Like, and yesterday, and why do I feel it, and I feel it, and I feel like, people can think it's cynical because of course they want my money and I give them few bucks at the end. But I got here to situation that I talked like 20 minutes with the homeless and we just
Mm.
communicate. And I feel like they don't get it a lot, that people just treat them as
Mhm.
equal human beings, that we interact and we have nice exchange, and okay, you're in a situation that you need a couple of bucks, I'll give it to you for sure, but it doesn't make me,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and yeah, and I feel something is fucked up in the way we act to each other, we act to everyone is feel lonely and in some lack of, ability to communicate. I feel like this system that we talk about is not just material, it's also like it's a lack of community in a very deep emotional sense.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I don't feel like like what you said now is not part of material conditions. I feel like if you like community, what is community? Community is communication. It is relationships. It is dependency on other people. It is
Mhm.
emotional state. It is a mental state. It's all material. It all really exists. Okay, I don't think that it is outside material conditions. There are material conditions that are more immediate. Like if you don't eat, you will die immediately. Okay, like immediately in a few weeks, in a few months. If you don't drink, you will die in 2 3 days. If you don't breathe, you will die in 5 minutes. Okay, but also if you don't have community, you are dead inside. It's not
Yeah.
it's not outside of the material conditions. It's real and it's important and
Mhm.
it's critical.
Yeah. Yeah, and in a way, I thought about it. It's so critical, and that I thought about it again about like people like homeless that are asking for money, for example.
Mm.
they like say, guys, like I don't have anything to give. I lost it. I'm down. Just help me. I need some help, right?
Mm.
And this is look like as if it's the worst thing, like people look down at them. And I feel like why I feel sometimes more connection, because they are like already in a state of like, I need community because I cannot do it myself.
Yes,
Help me, please. And
yes,
people look down at them, but I feel like I a lot of time like feel like I want to be like this. And and I get support from my parents that help me live because I don't know how to make it in this world.
yes.
Who am I to look down upon them,
Of course,
you know?
of course.
And this life is can crush you, you
Yes,
know?
yes,
And it crushes me when I feel like people are fucking self burning themselves,
yes, yes.
because how things are fucked up.
I want to take what you said and use it to do like to go deeper into our own psychology and like collective psychology, okay? And I
Yeah.
think that one of the most basic stories that they tell us is that your level of success in
Hmm.
this society is related to how good of a person you are.
Yeah.
And it's kind of known that it's not related to how good of a person you are in a moral sense. This is
Right.
kind of
Right.
accepted.
Yeah.
But they say no, it measures other things like
Yeah.
how good you are at innovation, how intelligent you are, how
Yeah.
hardworking you are, how motivated you are, how much you invested in how much you contribute to society, all kinds of stories, all kinds of stories. And I must say that like the stories of Zionism, that it's not just when you look at the stories of Zionism, like I'll give this example, uh, they sanctify death and we sanctify life. The Palestinians sanctify death and we sanctify life. And when you look at the stories of Zionism and you look at actual reality and examine them uh, 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 like in front of reality, you see that they are not just wrong. Yes, they are wrong, but it's worse than that. They are the opposite of the truth. It's always the opposite. It's not just, oh, it's not like that. It's more complex than that. It's as simple but opposite. Okay? And
Yeah.
I think that this is one of these stories. They tell us that the more successful you are in this society, the better you are. And I think it's the opposite. I think the more successful you are in this kind of society, the worse you are. This is a testament to you being a bad person if you're successful in this society. Because let's think about it. Let's think about it. How are people successful in this society? They cooperate. They cooperate with the system in some sense. What do they tell me all the time? You should go work in high tech. All my life I hear this. My family says, you should go work in high tech.
Mm.
Why? Why? Because I am intelligent, because I have technical skills, because I know math, because I'm good at
Yeah.
programming, because I'm good
And
at
it
like
fits your
analyzing.
character and it fits like your like typecast,
Yes,
like
yes,
the
yes, I
guy
have
that
this
know
typecast.
math, that know,
Yeah. Go work in high tech. Go work
yeah.
in high tech. And this, I always hated it. And it started off by me thinking that working in high tech is boring, okay, and not
Yeah.
conducive to me being a creative person. And I thought that math was much more beautiful. Doing math, doing abstract math is much more beautiful. But then I realized that there's something more sinister here. Because what is working in high tech in Israel? Working in high tech is usually working for the weapons industry. This is what
Yeah.
it means.
Elbit shit.
Yes, yes. And if it's not in the weapons industry, then it's making gambling apps where people get addicted and lose all their money. And if it's not that, it's making stupid games which waste people's times and are also scams to extort money out of people. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And those people in the high-tech industry that feel like they are contributing to society, it's all bullshit. And the more I think about it, the more I discover about it, the more I see how much of bullshit it is, and how it's much more damaging to society than helping anyone. And I go back, and the thing is that this system is rotten. This system is corrupted. We see the genocide. We see the non-human animal holocaust. We see the wars. We see the exploitation. We see the violence. We see all of it. And this is a result of this system. You go back and you see that this system is corrupted and rotten. And so if you cooperate with this system, it means that you are a bad person. And the homeless people that you were talking to are exactly those people who could not find their place in this system. And that, to me, is a very good sign. They might be a little bit unbalanced or a lot unbalanced because of this. They might be unpredictable and so forth and so on. But it's not because they're bad people. It's because they found themselves in this bad situation. And they found themselves in this bad situation because they couldn't or wouldn't cooperate with this system the way that it is. And that, in my opinion, means that they're more healthy, more sane, better than those who can and will and do cooperate with this system.
Yeah, I think I want to see all this, normal people. If I could force them one day, just go to the world and ask for help. Be vulnerable. Say, I don't know how to make money. Can you help me, please? In a way, that's a very, very higher spiritual place to be able to be in, to be able to ask for help, to say, I cannot make it alone. And, I found this humbleness when I went to NA groups, for example.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yeah, because I was already open here about the weed addiction, so I went a few times to NA. I didn't, but anyway, you see there people say, yeah, I was, down and I need help, and I'm not saying this the best way to be to beg for help, and that I don't want to romanticize it. I guess I would, if you would ask them, they would say I would prefer not to be in the street and maybe to have a job or to function. Like, I'm not saying it's a good place to be in, don't want to romanticize it. I'm just saying that the way of being that we view as normal and functioning is in a lot of time means emotional desert. That you pretend to be okay and independent, but you suffer.
Yes.
And yeah, so I don't think, we're in any way superior to anybody, It's like, I think part of anarchy is understanding this in a very deep sense.
Yes, yes. And the more deeply I understand it, the more I connect with it's like several levels, right? There's like the political awareness, there's the philosophical, ethical considerations, there's like just looking at reality and seeing reality, and there's also like your emotional, mental attitude to the world and to other people and other living beings. And I went to this sanctuary, this animal sanctuary in the middle of, like right next to Tel Aviv. Okay, it's an urban environment, and it's a sanctuary where animals that were rescued from the meat and dairy and eggs industries, or just from human exploitation in general, like donkeys that were being exploited, and there's a lot of donkeys there, cows, chickens, goats, sheep, all kinds of animals that were rescued from all kinds of animal exploitation. And there's something magical that happens in places like this. And I think that the magical thing that happens there's a lot of aspects to it, but one aspect is that you, for a small moment, okay, a very short moment in time, you experience living alongside other animals. And it's not the full experience because you come and you see and you go, okay?
Yeah.
So it's a very short moment, and it's only 1%, maybe 1 millionth of the full experience, maybe. And still, it's such a meaningful experience to just, stand next to a donkey that was rescued. And they explained to us how this donkey was so abused that they broke their spirit, the donkey's spirit, and now the donkey cannot say, I want this or I don't want this. The donkey is so disconnected from his own emotions and desires that it's very difficult for him to say, I want this or I don't want this. So you have to be very gentle with the donkey. You have to go and you have to start caressing it like a few times, and then you stop and you let the donkey say, yes, I want more. How the donkey sends his head and he starts, rubbing his head against you. That means that the donkey wants more caresses. Okay, so it forces you in some way to be much more attentive. And if you come from above, it will not work. It will not work. You have to come from here. Okay.
Yeah.
And coming from above is also being, they talk about compassion.
Yeah.
I don't like it anymore. There's this phrase in like protests, social justice protests in Hebrew, okay? They say, tzedek lo tzedakah. Tzedek is justice, and tzedakah is, what is tzedakah in English?
Charity.
Charity, yes. Justice, not charity. So when you give people charity, that's coming from above, that's compassion. And then you are still the master. So I think when you come from this place, it's broken. It doesn't work. You can only come from a place of equality, and that is where real connection can only happen.
Yeah. We need to do a full more episodes about the subject of human-animal relationship.
Yes, I
Like,
think.
I think honestly, I have parts that are still like human supremacist. And I feel I never got to argue with you, and I don't want to hold on to them. I want you to dismantle them, but we need to do an episode that I just ask you questions and you can smash the human supremacists in me.
Let's do it. It will be, I think it will be constructive. It will be instructive, and it will be fun and interesting. And I think like it's a great thing to do because I
but
want to
also,
say,
like, to be honest, I can say it like this, but I have questions that I feel like if I'm not saying it's human supremacy, I'm saying I don't understand how we can avoid species and in any sort of that's something I just, in my mind, I don't know if it's possible for us to do. And if you think it's possible, I will be.
I don't know. And this connects to what I wanted to say, that, listen, the only thing that's different between us is that I invested more time and energy into deconstructing these things inside me. I had it. I still have it. I am a human supremacist. I admit this. I am. You know what? I'm a Zionist as well. I'm a racist as well. I'm a capitalist as well. I'm a chauvinist. I'm sexist. I'm all of these things. I am. I'm transphobic. I'm homophobic. I'm all of these things. Okay? All I can do, all any of us can do, is look honestly into these places where we were poisoned and became rotten by our hierarchical, supremacist, ideology-driven society. and deconstruct as much as we can. That's all we can do. And I'm not saying that I have all the answers or even some of the answers. I'm just saying I did this process. I put a lot of energy into it. I know a lot of people who did it. I know you did it as well. I know it, that you did a lot of this process as well in many, many, many different fronts. I mean, you deprogrammed yourself from Zionism. This is extremely difficult. And
I'm still doing it, by the way.
yes, me too. And that's all we can do. We can, okay, so let's go back to the community thing. We don't, okay. I think this is a very important point. Sometimes I feel like in leftist circles, there's like this competition on who is more radical.
Yeah.
Like, and then it becomes completely ridiculous in my opinion. Like, isn't this the opposite of what we want to do?
Yeah.
What we want to do is learn from each other how to deconstruct, how we need to cooperate. We want to cooperate together in ways to deconstruct our own poison in our body, you know, in our mind and soul, you know.
Yeah.
This is what we want to do. We don't want to have a competition on who is more righteous. This is the opposite. Leftist
Right.
thinking is against competition, right? We don't want to do this.
Yeah. It's
So this is
funny.
what I want to do. This is honestly what I want to do, you know?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Most of my ideals, you know, I have a lot of my critical thinking in my late age became through getting into an anarchist thinking through anarcho-capitalist thinking. And every time I go back to these texts that I read, I find there a lot of truth. Like,
Yes.
and I feel like that a lot of my, and it's hard for me because I don't know what I am. I don't define myself as leftist, you know. I understand the faults of capitalism, and I have the wish to live more, to create societies that people live more life that in alignment with moral values, and that community is based not on market, and there's some exchange that is more harmonious, that makes everybody come better, you know?
Yes.
But I still, my opposition to state power and state authority makes me feel I'm not standing with the left on most of the issues.
Yes. We talked
I'm
about
with,
this.
yeah, I'm with them in many stuff, but especially like the anti-war, anti-genocide, anti-imperial, anti-colonial.
Yes.
But I don't believe in the state giving us social health care. I don't believe in the
So
state cleaning out our poop and taking care of us. I feel like this is the leftist fall, like in the mommy state, you know? Like the right wing want the daddy state that kicks the shit out of everybody and makes you feel safe. And the leftists want the mommy state that take care of you, and you're always, instead of we creating the system, instead of me and you now doing something, you know, we start to build it. That's the idea of revolution.
Yes. So
That we build our source.
I must say now that to me, the position you described is not the position of actual leftists. Maybe they call themselves leftists, but I don't think that they are. I think people who believe in a superstructure that controls our life are not actual leftists. It's not a competition. Okay, I'm not trying to say I'm the real leftist. I'm just saying that there are actual definitions to words, and leftism is opposed to all kinds of hierarchies. This is a core part of leftism. And if you believe that some people should be at the top of a superstructure called a state to take care of us, then sorry, this is not part of it in my opinion. I do not believe in it. I do believe that if states already exist, then it's better if they are used to help people who are in need instead of helping the rich become richer and exploit us more. This is a position that I have, but it's not a core position that I have. I don't believe that the state should be a something that gives us social rights. It's stupid. I think it's just and historically today's democratic states are just liberal structures. They were created by liberals, not by leftists, by liberals who believe in private property, who believe in private ownership over public resources like lands and factories and stuff like that, and social networks and stuff like that. And today's states, when I look at their function is not enabling freedom. It's not enabling prosperity. It's not helping all of us live a better life. And we can see this now. We can see this now with Germany, with the US, with all the countries in Europe that are supposedly, progressive, blah, 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 blah. They're supporting this genocide and they're funding it, and so no, I'm sorry, it's not. And they violently oppress anyone who is against the genocide, or usually that's their reaction, especially Germany.
Yeah.
So that's not the function of the state currently. The function of the state currently is to protect the powerful and the rich. It's a hierarchical structure that is meant to keep everyone in line and in this hierarchical way of living. And it is anti-leftist, in my opinion. And any leftist who supports this, I'm sorry, I don't believe you that you are a leftist.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe, I don't know.
This is another
feel
episode that we need to do, I think.
It's another episode. We touch many things.
So we went very wide and wider and wider and wider. And I want to focus in back on Palestine.
Mhm.
So I want to continue the point that that I started way back in the beginning of this episode. And this is like the 2 points of view that I can have and that I also simultaneously have when I look around me here in Palestine. So I described just looking at Israel and seeing the ugliness of Israel. And at the same time, I can see the beauty of Palestine. I can see the Mediterranean Sea. And I can see the shore. And I can see the mountains and the hills. And I can see the plants. And I can see the ground. And I can see the earth. And I can see the animals. And I can also see the people. Although the people are very much corrupted, and especially the so-called Israelis, they are very much corrupted. This is why they are called Israelis, because they are part of this system, because they have been grabbed by the system from the moment that they were born, and before that, actually, for generations upon generations. And this corrupts them, and this makes them ugly. And I think the moment you compare these 2 points of view, or at least for me, the moment I see them at the same time, I know exactly what I want to dismantle, and I know exactly what I want to strengthen and make better and bigger and richer and be part of. And I want to be part of Palestine. I do not want to be part of Israel. And most Israelis, when they hear me say this, they will think that I have gone insane. But you know what? Yeah. This is the sanest that I have felt ever. And the more I connect with this, the saner I feel and the better I feel.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's amazing, to hear you say it. Sometimes I feel like you are a few steps ahead of me in embracing it. And if I will just embrace it like you, I will have, I think, I'm still struggling with my sense of belonging. And yeah, and there's some part in me that feels some guilt still. And I'm dealing with it, it's like an inner voice, but I feel like
Can you like let that inner voice speak right now?
now,
Yes, right now. Let's do it.
yes, I think the guilt says many things. It says that um, uh, that in a way I'm speaking that I'm speaking against my people like in other language, and I'm not talking to them. And I told it to you many times, and it's like reveals. But the thing is, the deep thing. It's not this. It's like this. You're selling your people. This kind of, and like if and my mother, when she watched one of my Instagram lives, she said, "It looks you're talking like you never lived here." And I think about this sense of betrayal, then maybe my friend's gonna feel because I'm trashing the society, that this society treated me very well in many, many aspects. And I got my opportunity to create amazing relationships with people, to do music, very free avant-garde music, and had small group of people who support me and embrace me. Like it was a lot of spiritual awakenings, close relationship, and and knowing that the apartheid is there, what now I understand Ilan Pape called incremental genocide. He
Yes.
called what the state before the current genocide incremental. Like the genocide process, I think when people will analyze it, it started before. And we were living next to it, And but the truth is that I just lived in it, and then when I'm talking about it, like you talking about it, and I had very good intimate relationship with people that are super fascist, super fascist, and I kind of learned to put it aside and to see the other good things in them. And suddenly in 1 year, I just dropped to like, I'm not fine with you, you're
Yes.
Nazis. And there's something that feel a bit hypocritical about it. And I feel like how can people can watch these videos and then I think what happened, why I did this transition so quickly, and to many people it can look like I've gone crazy, and then I'm reminding to myself what's happening and what's happening in reality and what made me because like this and how crazy there and yeah, I realized something, and the moment you realize it,
Yes, it cannot be unseen.
yeah, but I cannot, just feel guilty because I had times in my life that I didn't see it, everyone has to realize it at some point. Like, so I don't know what's the point of this guilt, to be honest.
I
But
think I can
you listen to all of it now. You can say,
I can tell you what it sounds like to me.
mm-hmm,
It sounds precisely like someone who is in
mm-hmm,
the process of stepping out of a cult. Exactly,
yeah,
to the word. You know why? Because it is this. It is what is going on. And I think this is very instructive. The voices that you let speak now.
yeah,
What are they saying to you? They're saying, look at how much we gave you.
yeah,
Look at how much we gave you. Aren't you grateful? Aren't you grateful for everything that we gave you?
yeah,
And you should and why are you leaving? Why are you leaving? Come back, come back, come back. Don't
yeah,
speak against us. Don't speak against us. And to the outside, to the evil, outside that is persecuting us, the pure ones, the good ones, the right ones, they on the outside are always persecuting us, and you are now going to them and speaking to them and telling them all about what's going on inside here and lying about us? Don't you understand what is going on here? Did you not understand all these years where we explained to you carefully what is going on here?
Yeah.
And it's very easy to fall into this, right?
It's nice, I'm laughing because it's liberating me for me to hear it from that perspective. Because
And the reason that I can say all this is because I experienced all this. I just had a few years of head start before you. That's all that happened. And I think it's just because of my personality structure more than anything. Like really, I was my personality structure and like my personal history. This is basically what allowed me to not fall into it. And I think, okay, so it's very easy to fall into these traps, these rhetorical traps, but I think we should always remind ourselves of the other side of this. And this is something objective that can be measured. And this is, I think, at the heart of the definition of a cult.
Mhm.
Is there something that is not allowed to talk about? Is there something? And in this cult of Zionism, there is something that you cannot talk about, and that is Palestine. And we see
Yeah.
it more and more and more. If you say Palestine, if you say the word Palestine, immediately, you are cast out. And everything that they gave you, all the things that they gave you, they take away. Why? Because they are, this is a superstructure, a hierarchical, supremacist structure of control, of manipulation, of brainwashing, of propaganda, and so forth and so on. So you need to cooperate. You need to cooperate. This is the thing with cults, that you need to cooperate. And then you get, and you get, and you get, and you get. If you cooperate, you get. This is exactly what I said about capitalism and about our society at large. If you cooperate, you get money, you get respect, you get appreciation, you get social contact, you get community, you get everything, everything. Everything you
Yeah,
want,
but
everything you need, more and more and more if you cooperate. The moment you start cooperating, what
you,
happens the moment you start cooperating? They take everything away because it was
you
never
start
yours to
not
begin with.
cooperating.
What?
The moment you start not
Yes,
cooperating.
yes. The moment you stop cooperating
Yeah.
with the
You
system,
stop cooperating. Okay.
they take everything away with you, from you. And I think that this is just proof that it was never yours to begin with. They never really gave it to you. They never really gave it to you. All this warmth that you felt, all this warmth was part of this manipulation process.
Yeah, even though, I must say I still get warmth from my parents, even though they know what I just, and you
And this is
also,
the
it's just
true love. This is
complicated.
the true love. The love that
Yeah,
they don't take away is the one that's true. The love that they do take away is the one that's false.
and you feel you can say towards them, you still love them even though they're Zionists.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
it's
course.
mutual. You didn't feel you took away your life from your love from people
Now I
since
took away my
7th of
cooperation.
October?
I took away
Huh?
my cooperation.
Hmm.
I,
It's
I, I,
something to this thing because I feel I did a bit and it scares me because I don't want, not with everybody, with some people. And it's more that I just kind of avoided them and they avoided me, but it felt like we both took away our love because I feel that they are Nazis and they feel that I'm a traitor and we don't want to interact. But maybe, the true way to act upon it is not to fall into this place and to come to a person that you love and to tell him, yeah, you're a Nazi. But I don't, but I still love you, but I still
yes,
think you're a Nazi. Maybe
yes.
that's the thing to do.
I think it's complicated, okay? We have to acknowledge how complicated it is because this is part of the manipulation that these cults create, okay? Because it's like, so it's a virus that takes over the minds of those you love. And then there's still those people, they have the same personality, at least superficially. They have the same opinions, at least superficially. They have the same appearance, okay? And they have the same mannerisms, and there's still those people, but they're not really those people. It's like zombie movies. I think zombie movies are very deep in this sense. I feel like I'm in a zombie movie in real life all the time.
Yeah.
And this is what's so confusing and manipulative about this, because you really do love them, and you really do want to continue to love them, but then it gets mixed up in like the personal things. You start speaking about personal things, and then you finally you suddenly get not the person that you know and love, but someone else. Why? Because what you were talking about touched that boundary or crossed that boundary that the cult puts.
Yeah.
And then you're not talking to that person anymore. And then you get hurt. And then you get confused because you think that the person who hurt you is the person you love. But that's not it. The person who hurt you is the virus. It's not a person. It's someone else. It's the virus that hurt you. But it's confusing. It's confusing to see a person treat you in a certain way and hurt you. And then you get upset. Okay, so this is cooperating with the cult in some sense. Okay, so it is.
Yeah, maybe
liberated.
Maybe the good advice to people who listen, because I have a lot of talks with people here who lost a friend because they're Zionist or something. Just remember that it's the virus, but sometimes, the virus can take away really big chunks of personality.
Yes.
And this person cannot even see you or talk to you, or, at some point, I think some people would see in me reflection of all they hate, and I cannot avoid being seen that way. And then like you think that's because they see me through this virus, so this is what they see, like the virus marked people like me as enemy.
Yes.
And so, it's walking on in the world, especially if you go back to live in Palestine, knowing that. And I don't know if I will be able to keep my sanity, honestly, if I live there for a long time.
Yes.
I'm not sure I could sustain my emotional and mental health. That's why I more and more think of like that it's getting time for me to completely move the center to somewhere else, or to live without a center. Let's
talk about this.
Yeah.
I think this relates a lot to a subject that we wanted to touch. And this is, so we talked in a previous episode about your trip in the United States, only a part of it, because there's more experiences that you can share with us now that a few more weeks have gone by. But I had a trip outside of Palestine just recently. I came back, it was 4 days ago that I came back, 4 or 5 days ago. And I was in Spain, or what I realized during the trip, which is also something that I want to share, is that for a large part of this trip, I was in Catalonia, not in Spain, in Catalonia. And Barcelona is in Catalonia, not in Spain. Just like Haifa is in Palestine, not in Israel. Just like that. Just like that.
Wow.
Just like that. Just like that. It's the same. And you know what? It's not just the same thing in different places. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Spain and Israel is the same. It's two parts of the same structure.
Yeah, but but it's not near like the cruelty that Spain doing to Catalonia than to Israel, to Palestine.
Of course, this oppression expresses itself in different ways, in different locations.
Yeah,
And
but it's more like as if Israel would give like citizenship to Palestinians,
yes,
but still will call it Israel and still like deny certain aspects of like the history of Palestine.
yes.
But Palestinians would be equal citizens already, something like
I
this.
need to tell about this. I need to tell about this. So when I was in Barcelona,
Mm-hmm.
I met a couple of Catalan friends. So one of my, I'm not going to go into too many details because of like protecting personal, details. But I would just say that one of my subscribers who watches our podcast and loves our podcast, he offered to give me a place to stay, give me and my girlfriend a place to stay, and we were hanging out together, him and his wife, and it was really wonderful. And they are Catalan. But not exactly. Not exactly. We were talking about how the Palestinian identity is more inclusive than the Jewish identity or the Jewish identity in Israel or the Israeli identity or that fucking mess of identities
Mm-hmm.
there that is impossible to define and to work with properly. The Palestinian identity is much more inclusive. If you live in Palestine, if you have a connection to Palestine, if you feel a connection to Palestine, you can call yourself Palestinian or from Palestine or whatever, and most Palestinians would accept it. This has been my personal experience.
Yeah.
And the Catalan identity is also this inclusive thing. And
Mm.
the wife in this couple is actually from the Czech Republic, okay? But she calls herself Catalan. Why?
Yeah.
Because she's been living in Catalonia for 20 years.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
knows Catalan. She speaks Catalan. She's married to a Catalan person, also with like roots in different parts of Spain. And this is very interesting to me. It was very interesting to me to hear her say, "I am Catalan," and I was like, hold on, aren't you Czech?" And she was like, "Yeah, but I'm also Catalan." So I want to say about what has been happening in Catalonia in the last few years, and people are not aware of this. But now I am aware of this. In 2017, the Catalonian people organized a referendum that they ran through the entire state of Catalonia, occupied state of Catalonia, to just with one question: do you want to disconnect from Spain and have independence? And millions of people participated in this referendum, and 80% of them said, yes, we want to separate from Spain.
Wow.
Yes. This was in 2017. This referendum was not carried out by the official authorities, of course, and it was carried out as a covert operation against the oppression of the official authorities, and in a way that was they didn't tell anyone about it. They couldn't tell too many people about it. They ran it underground. It was a surprise operation, and on the day of the referendum, it was brutally and violently oppressed by the Spanish police.
Wow.
Yes, there are videos of a Spanish policia beating the shit out of Catalan people for trying to go and vote in the referendum.
Wow.
And I saw one of these videos with my own
So like
eyes
there's
where,
still occupation going on.
yes, an older lady, an innocent, sweet old lady of Catalan, who is part of the Catalan people, going to vote and say, yes, I want independence, and fucking thugs, Spanish thugs, taking clubs and beating the shit out of her just for wanting to vote.
Interesting. Yeah, we need to learn. There is a
And
lot of
when I flew into Barcelona, I thought that it was called Barcelona and that it was in Spain. No, no, it is called, I'm gonna do my best Catalan accent, Barcelona, and it is in Catalonia. This is where it is.
Interesting.
And I need to lay out. Maybe we should do. I will ask my friend. I won't say his name. I will ask him if he wants to do an episode of Yalla with us because I think he can tell
Mhm.
a lot about.
About Catalonia and Palestine and the
Yes,
parallels.
and the connection. And just so you know, he sent me 2 days ago. He sent me a picture from. I will put it up on my Instagram. He sent me a picture from a protest for Palestine in Barcelona, where some of the participants hold a huge flag that is like like one side is the flag of Catalonia and the other side is the flag of Palestine, and it's connected in one big long flag.
Nice.
Yes, yes. And I'm not sure about the details, but I think it was the president of Catalonia or the guy who was like at the head of the local administration of Catalonia. I think he's called the president. I don't remember his name. I apologize. But the people who were in charge of the referendum, of organizing the referendum, he was at the top of that, were all criminalized by the Spanish authorities. They were all prosecuted to certain crimes that were made up, of course, made up. And the president, let's call him the president of Catalonia, had to escape. He is now in Belgium, exile in Belgium. It's like the Palestinian politicians who are persecuted by the Zionist authorities and have to leave and live in I don't know, Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that. So while editing this video, I looked up Carles Puigdemont just to get all the details about him correctly. And I found this absolute gem in the Wikipedia article about him. Apparently, 2 months ago, exactly, he returned to Spain, or more precisely, Catalonia, and absolute mayhem ensued. So please pause and read this part of the Wikipedia article about him. And I now think he's one of the coolest people in the world.
And like people in Spain are like, how is the left in Spain reacting to this? Are they siding with the Catalonians or not so much?
I don't know, but what I saw in Catalonia was that there is much more of a left than in so-called Israel, because in Israel it's nothing, almost nothing. There is an active left. They're not the majority. It doesn't mean that they're all super deep or super aware, but much more, much more.
Yeah.
And yes, they are of course for Catalonia. And I think that the leftist people in Madrid would also be for Catalonia. This is an educated guess at this point, but
Yeah.
I think yes, why not? Well, of course, like they are with Palestine, the left in Spain, that thing called Spain, is very much with Palestine, and I experienced very powerful things there. I saw so many things there. This is why I want to share with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know, is this the part of the episode where you do a short interview with me about my experiences in Catalonia and in Spain?
Yeah, I was wondering if I was like wanting to say more stuff related to like 7th of October and the
Yes.
fact that it's today.
Let's do 10 minutes of an interview about Spain and go back to 7th of October, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I was thinking that yesterday or 2 days I was in huge demonstration in DC, and the Zionist inside me, the fear of the cult made me like not do a live because I was afraid how will people look when they see the slogans, and I was thinking about going back to Palestine in a few days, and I was worried suddenly. And every time I shrink myself, I feel a bit bad about it. And like when I look at your like videos, it's like you have no shame and you're showing everything. And like I want to be like this too, but I don't know. I was there and I like,
I'm gonna tell you a secret.
Mhm.
In one of my videos, I had parts of these videos where I shouted Intifada in the protest
me,
that I went to in
me
Barcelona.
too. That's the problem. I love shouting. What can I do? It's
And
fun.
but I cut out these parts. But
Yeah.
you know, not because of shame, because of fear. Because of
Yeah.
fear. Because I know that if the Zionist authorities want to oppress me and shut me up and limit my freedom, they can do it by using such things. I think they can already do it anyway because there's too much material of me saying outright and in
Yeah.
no and not apologetically that I
Mhm.
oppose Zionist regime. So if they want to, they will find a way at some point. But I don't want to help them. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you
Yeah.
know, those
So
things that are like overtly things that the Zionist regime can say that I support violence, even though, let me just say, I object to all violence. I object to all violence. I think violence should be less all the time, less, less,
yeah.
less. I am against violence, all form of violence, all forms of violence. This is why I am against the Zionist regime, because I am against violence. I am for peace. I am a pacifist. I am against violence.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
This is fascism. This is crazy, Alec. This is crazy. This is what I was telling
That
you
I'm going
about.
through guilt and crazy shit because of being against violence,
But seriously,
basically.
seriously, seriously, look at this. Look at this. I feel actively oppressed for the very fact that I object to violence. Is this not a clear sign of the deep corruption and and just rottenness of this system, the rot in this system? I am oppressed because I am against violence. That means that to not be oppressed, you need to support violence, or at least, at the very least, be absolutely okay with it.
Yeah.
This is why I say that if you are successful in this system, I am scared of you. If you are Yuval Noah Harari, I am scared of you. You are successful in this rotten system that oppresses me because I object to violence. That means you do not object to violence, Yuval Noah Harari. And everyone like Yuval Noah Harari. Everyone like you. If
Yeah.
you are successful in this system, it means you are bad. Take a good look at yourself and see why you are successful in such a rotten system. And then be unsuccessful in the system and join us, join the resistance.
Nice. This is a good rant. You should cut it as a reel after.
Yes.
Um, so I'm thinking, so you've been joining a lot of like I saw stuff in Instagram and it was really, really, really fun to watch you. It's looked like, yeah, like that you like, waved the Palestinian flag and like chose the biggest you can find.
It was so fucking huge, bro. It was so fucking huge. And then there was like this spot that you can come and hold the flag and like help the people carry it. So I was like, okay, this is my golden opportunity.
It was really nice to see you. And yeah, I want to know, yeah, I want to hear more what you've experienced. Like, I wonder if it needs to be a whole episode and we
let
just,
me let me try to find like one experience that I want to tell about. Let's go to the protest. Let's go to the protest in Barcelona. I'm trying my best.
Mhm.
So there was this moment where I was in the crowd looking at one of the speakers, and she was a Palestinian woman, a very powerful Palestinian woman. talking about the liberation of Palestine from where she was in Barcelona. And there was this 1 second where I kind of looked at the speech through the lens of a documentary that was done about this, you know, decades later. And it looked to me the same that it looks to me when I see documentaries about, I don't know, the 60s and people who were part of the resistance of the black movement in the US. And they fought and they liberated themselves slightly. The job is not done and they need to fight more, but they liberated themselves slightly. And now these people, the moments where they spoke and those powerful speeches that they gave that really made a difference, they are now part of history and they appear in documentaries in ways that you watch them and you get inspired. And I know for a fact that the thing that I saw in Barcelona in that protest was this. It was this. It was people standing up against oppression, fighting against it, speaking against it, connecting to their inner power, to their sense of right and wrong, to their independence, but their community as well. And finding power within them that, like the courage to speak in front of tens of thousands of people and say things that are not accepted by general society, still also there. You know, it's much better than here, of course, than here in occupied Palestine. But it's still hard to say the things that they said. They still are getting themselves slightly in trouble. But also they were getting support there, which is very different from what happens in occupied Palestine. If you speak for the Palestinians in occupied Palestine, it's really, really bad. That's why it's happening there and not here.
Yeah. That's why, you know, like, because speaking for Palestine and singing for Palestine and became big part of what I do. It's not all of what I do, but it's part of what I do. And big part, I don't think I can live freely in Palestine.
So the question
That's
is,
the
let me
thing,
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. It's a question I've been wanting to ask you for a long time, and maybe this is an opportunity to ask you. I don't think you're afraid of the audience watching and will not answer honestly. So I'm thinking about you are coming back to Palestine in a few days. And I see you there, free or freer. And I'm worried. I want you to come back. I miss you. Okay? I want you to come back. I think it will be good when you are here, because when you are not here, it's less good. So it will be better when you're here. But I have very mixed feelings about this, because I do not want you to lose your freedom. And a concrete question that this started from is, do you think you can continue to do such concerts in Palestine as well, in occupied Palestine as well? But the wider context is, do you think you can feel free in Palestine? And how much of the non-freedom that you must feel in occupied Palestine, as I feel in occupied Palestine, is part of actual physical oppression coming from the outside, and how much of this is us limiting ourselves out of fear and not rational fear?
That's the question. That's the golden question. I don't, because one hand, I feel maybe the fear is inside, and you know, and I saw people doing stuff very courageous, more courageous than me, doing stuff out there in the street. Of some amazing guy that like stood just out there with dress and many signs. Did you see it?
I think in Tel Aviv, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and saying stuff about the genocide and beautiful, very smart slogans.
Yes.
And and he did that and he just stood like this out there in the open. And I think
Yes.
why not to do such things there?
Mhm.
Maybe this is what we need to do, and maybe I need to overcome the fear
Yes.
and just, take the risk and go for it. And if I will be able to embrace this kind of mental courage,
Mhm.
so it could be amazing. But I'm a bit scared and I feel maybe it's stupid to do it there. I know that I will be miserable if I will not perform and if I will just limit myself.
Mhm.
That's a given. The
Mhm.
question, if I can, is it stupid to overcome the fear and do what I want to do, or that I'm limiting myself out of fear? And that's what you asked. And how do we know that? Maybe you need to be a bit in a martyr kind of vibe that says like, I know I can get hurt, but fuck it. I don't know. But on the other hand, you don't want to be stupid because I feel that my voice as an artist, as a speaker is important, and self-preservation is important too, and it's true also in your case.
Do you think
So
I'm being stupid?
I
I'm
don't
honestly
think you're
asking. I
being
don't.
I don't think you're being stupid, but sometimes I feel that you have this sense of like you're shielded from attack, and it will be all right feeling that I like it, but sometimes I feel maybe you don't have the fascist alarm strong enough, and maybe there is, it's the Jewish history in me that says like you need to escape in the right time.
But I'm
And
also the
sometimes I
grandson of a Holocaust
and
survivor.
sometimes I think maybe you are from these people who didn't understand how fast it can go to like full-on fascism, which we must say the structure in Palestine is fascist, but it still need to have this privileged Jews class. So until
Yes.
now we could speak and they didn't go after us.
Yes.
But but they can change the strategy, when they are not gonna have anything to lose anymore and they don't need to have this facade of like democracy for Jews. So it will be, and then it could be scary, and maybe it's better to be out before it happens. And also, yeah, I want to just feel free and do my music and feel more people that vibing with me, which in Israel is hard.
Yes.
But on the other hand, in Israel, maybe I can touch some, in Palestine, sorry, I can touch some hearts. My music can touch hearts in a way that speaking cannot, and it's tool. And I do want to touch people there and make them think and make them. I had experiences of here on making Jewish American to rethink their Zionism.
Mhm.
I had it here, and I know there are Israelis who want to drop their supremacy, but like
Yes.
they don't know how they're scared. Maybe we can offer help to these ones too. So yeah, there's a job to be done there.
You and I did an episode in Hebrew a few
Right.
months ago. We recorded an episode in Hebrew,
Yeah.
and we never uploaded it.
Right.
Both for like technical reasons, I would say. It's just like time and energy,
Yeah.
but also because I'm kind of afraid to put it out there. There's something in me that is still afraid.
Yeah.
And maybe let's ask the audience, our audience, what do you think about? We recorded an episode in Hebrew and we said some stuff there. And like one of my problems is that I feel that it was not like accurate enough. It wasn't like it was also like angry and scattered and stuff like that. So maybe we need to do it again and come from a different place. But this is the thing. It's always like this. That the cult kind of silences you in so many different ways that are very manipulative so that you don't notice. And one of the ways that it silences you is that it tells you that you can only speak when you've overcome all the things, right? All the barriers, and then you can only speak so purely that they will listen. Okay? But this is another manipulation, because why can't you just speak right now? What is the thing? What's the problem with me just saying what I think? Why is it always that you should speak in a way that we can listen?
Right. So
like, can't you just listen?
Listen.
Can't you just like listen? And if you can't listen, why can't you listen? Like, what is going on here? I come with like the best intentions, and I try to do it as well as I can while still remaining true to my own values and speaking the truth. And it always comes out weird. It always comes out messy. It always comes out like something that I believe that they will never listen to, not because of them, but because of me, because of the way that I spoke. But it's always like that. It's 100% of the time like that.
I don't know, like the video that you did in Hebrew and after the 7th of October, I think it had popularity also in Hebrew.
Yes, but negative popularity. They hated it. I was about to say, I'm going to upload later today for the 7th of October. I'm going to upload this video that I recorded on the 11th of October, 2023, where I spoke in Hebrew. This was the first thing that I did. I spoke in Hebrew.
Yeah.
And I added English subtitles. I'm going to upload it so that you can see what I said there. And please, we will put a link to it. You can go look at it. And it got a lot of attention, but negative attention. So what happened a few days after is that Hanoch Daun, who is a mini celebrity in Israel, and especially within right-wing circles, right-wing is extreme Zionist, that's what it means. So he posted a screenshot of one of my posts, which was like, I wrote very like extensive and deep posts. I went into things deeply and tried to say honest things. And then on Facebook, when I was still speaking Hebrew on Facebook, now I don't do it anymore. So it was like a moment of like, I was upset with the vegan activists that I did activism with, who are now Zionists and attacking me personally and being shitheads because they're Zionists. And I was upset with this, so I wrote a post. If you support the continuing oppression of the Palestinians and the attacks on Gaza, then you are not worthy of the title vegan. That's all I wrote. And then Hanoch Daun took a screenshot of this and he posted it on his profile and he wrote, "Go sit on a tofu block." This is the Israeli sense of humor. Go sit on a tofu. Also homophobic, always, always. And like vulgarly sexual, always. And then a bunch of people, this post got 5,000 likes, okay? Laughing emojis and angry emojis and stuff like that. And many people came to my Facebook profile and my Instagram profile, and they sent me messages. I got hundreds of messages before I locked my profile. I got hundreds of messages full of death threats, rape wishes, curse words, horrible, insults. And the best of it was the passive aggressive, I'm not against you, but you need to understand, blah, 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 blah. Okay? All of it is the cult attacking me in all different ways for daring to say the truth. And this is what the kind of, so it became popular. It got like 40,000 views or something. No, 25,000 views. Another post of me got of mine got 40,000 views. This got 25,000 views, but negative views. And why am I translating it to English? Because I think that once it has English subtitles, it will also get positive views.
Yeah.
And I will also get positive feedback on it. And this, why am I telling this? Because this is exactly what I learned in Spain, in Catalonia. Okay? That the moment I interact with people outside of this murderous, genocidal, suicidal cult, I get good vibes for being who I am. And from the members of the cult, I get bad vibes from being who I am. And I had this thought in connection to what you posted yesterday, Elik, with your live. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? You did a live and you said something about being against Zionism for selfish reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you just say what you said there? Because I need to react. I was thinking something when I watched it, so I want to use this opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was thought that I said that sometimes I feel like that people think like I'm going against Zionism because I want to get likes, to become more popular. And it's, and it's true that I have more Instagram followers, more people hearing my music. And there's people who think and wrote a few times, we want to kind of gain, to be liked in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that when a voice hound down in my head, what make me actually not be hunted to ask in what sense it's true.
Yes, I love that insight. I loved it. Just go with it,
Yeah.
see what it actually says, and then clean it all, all the
Yeah.
rest, clean it out.
And I said, okay, I sacrifice, there's horrible consequences of going against that, but you gain so much.
Mm-hmm.
I gained a world,
Mm-hmm.
of people, of connections, of meaning, because Zionism, and then I connected it to the fact that Zionism is self-destructive.
Yes.
So it's true that when you go out of it, you also improve your own life. And so there's also because I think there is some kind of healthy selfishness. You want to also,
Yes.
and I feel like a rational being try to take care of itself. If Zionists were rational, they would say, "Oh, wow, we make everyone around hate us. We're super weak and afraid. The only thing that make us survive here is imperial help that can disappear one day."
Yes, and we
And then
disappear very soon, sooner than
and
you
then
think.
they're gonna be we're gonna need to deal with all of the revenge of all the people in the area. It's not just Palestinian anymore, and it's super dangerous game we're playing. That's what they would think if they would be healthy, selfish.
Yes.
Even if they didn't care about the Palestinians.
Yes.
And I think going out of Zionism is something that help you personally in many things. Life become better. And not that it only becomes better, but you gain a lot.
It's not a superficial kind of better. That's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It's not superficial. You say, they say that you like the good things that happened in your life as if it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. It's good. It's a good thing. The good things are happening to me. And if you think that it's a bad thing that good things are happening to me, then you are by definition, by the very definition, linguistic definition of the term, my enemy.
Yeah.
Just like the most basic definition of what enemy is. What is an enemy? Someone who thinks that it's good where bad things happen to you.
Yeah. Right.
So what do I want to say to you about that? Let's look at the deal that Zionism and Zionists are offering us, okay? As Israeli-born Jews, okay? Born Israeli Jews. People who have Israel and Jewish on their passports and their identity cards, okay? This is the deal that they offer us. Come, stay with us, agree with us, play the game with us. And every moment you step out of line, you will get aggressive pushback. Okay? Every time. And so you will have two choices. One is to repress and stay silent and develop, if not a physical ulcer, then a mental and emotional and spiritual ulcer. Okay? This is what you will develop in this society once you truly believe in peace, justice, love, cooperation, non-violence. This is what you will get. This is one option. Or you can speak out and get harsh pushback. Okay?
Yeah.
Or you can just reject it and go play with other people. And then you will get love. And then you will get community. And then you will get appreciation for just being who you are, for just being who you truly are. You will get friends, you will get support, you will get kind words, you will get niceness, you will get compliments, you will get love. You will get something that's deep. It's not just superficial. It's not just like superficial things. It's true friends who truly appreciate you and
Yeah,
truly
that's the
love you.
biggest thing I got is the human
Yes.
connection. That's the one first thing that is the most important. And then all the other stuff is like, it's the people I met. It's the sense of that I have in many places, people who are, I feel like, close in the heart, and we can, yeah, that's the most valuable thing. There's many other stuff as well, but
I want to use this opportunity to thank everyone that I met in Catalonia and in Spain, who was so nice and kind to me, and some of them are watching. So thank you. You
yeah,
know who you are. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
yeah, all the
But
people that
real love.
yeah, it's a big love. It's a big love that is cross culture and cross boundaries. And that's what's scary. Freedom is always scary, like when you have protective cult or even people who grow up in a very protective families, then when you just go and make new connections with people you align with, it's hard, but we are free, Of course, I would never close my heart to someone that I love, but maybe I will want to be somewhere else, and it's legitimate. And I think like it's hard, but it's something that when you kind of grow up, you have to accept that you're free,
Yes.
that you're free to choose the people you want to hang out with, that you're
Yes.
free to create the connection you want to create. And if you want to have a good life, creating connections with people that align with your values and systems, it's one of the best things that you can do.
Yes. This is just tautologically true. The
Yeah,
moment you are faithful to your own values, to your true self, to your true thoughts, to your true emotions, to your true opinions, once you are aligned with this and you speak this out, you automatically attract people to you who have the same values. This is what is happening. And then if you think that your values are good, then wonderful. Speak out and you will attract people with the same values as you. And then you will have met the good people. Because you think that you are good. So this is what happens. And I did attract good people who did good things for me and to me. And if this is not proof that what I said works, then I don't know what is.
yeah,
And I also want to say that I found a community.
yeah,
I found that the Palestinian cause has a community, a worldwide community around it. And there are a lot of people in this community who will help you when you are down. And Like I'm thinking that it's not an accident that I met this community, that I interacted with this community and saw its strength and its depth and its width and and I feel like it's a good thing to do to acknowledge the existence of this community as people who are for Palestine in a way that is becoming deeper and deeper, to acknowledge this community and to join this community. It's the exact opposite of what I said about the Zionist community. The Zionist community is a cult that hurts you. And the Palestinian community is something that nurtures you. So I'm joining the Palestinian community. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Israel. I'm sorry, Israelis. I'm sorry, Zion. I'm sorry, Zionists. I'm sorry, Judaism also. Judaism cut my dick off. Like circumcision is a Jewish thing. They cut a part of my dick off when I was 8 days old. I'm sorry, Judaism. I will not forgive this ever, 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 ever. And you made my parents do it to their son. What can be more horrible and horrific and barbaric than that?
Right. Not spoken enough, this thing.
Of course, it's horrible. And I'm sorry. All these communities that hurt me repeatedly and deeply, bye. No, no. I want to join a community that I feel good in. And if such does not exist, then I will create a community that feels good.
Yeah, I feel the commute and yeah, I have a community of friends that I feel good in Palestine. And we had such a beautiful things there, and we did, and I miss them too. And I think it will be fine when I'll meet them. I think I'm not afraid of who I am, and they know what I think. And if they don't accept me, fine, but I'm sure they will accept me, even though it's hard for them what I do, yeah, but it's hard for me that not enough of them speak up and, care about this. It's like there is something between me and them.
Yes.
And even if they accept me and know what I'm doing and thinking, like for me, sometimes it's hard to hang around them when it's not understood as like a huge thing.
Yes.
And part of me feeling okay now with hanging out with like friends, like either Palestinians or people who are feeling part of this cause, that you have a place for grief. Like we can have fun together, but we give place for recognizing what's happening and being sad about it.
Yes.
And acknowledging it and talking about it. Sometimes talking about it too much, and you need to.
Yes, of course.
But like to be with people who don't even recognize it, it's hard.
Weird. It's weird and it's oppressive.
Yeah, it's hard. So I'm thinking like we're beginning to wrap it up, right? And we touched many subjects, and we go to the more wide meta thinking and also our personal experiences. And it's in many ways we discussed how we changed since October 7th. And it's not just we change, it's like I think both of us push the gears harder, I think we just became more in alignment of our work in this world and what we want to do.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about like stuff that we said on our first episodes, that we started from, and I think we say it in one way or another since the first episode,
Yes.
that first of all, it's all about recognizing the horrors that happening. And here we are here, and probably now still people are dying and getting killed in Gaza.
Yes.
And it's a fact that I cannot even begin to
And
understand.
now in Lebanon as well. And
And
now
in
they're attacking,
Lebanon,
they're going to start attacking more and more and more countries.
and the
It's
more
not clear where it is.
morally corrupted this Zionist project becoming, the more unsafe it become for Zionists.
Yes, it's the
And
same thing in some sense.
yeah,
It's the
and
same process.
it's the same process, and we've been saying it since the beginning. We keep saying it now. We keep trying to understand both in foundational level what makes it happen, what makes this horror possible in our reality. And each of us, I think this podcast is big part of our work, because when we talk with each other, we understand stuff, and I understand better my part and what my process is, and you understand yours, and it's kind of.
Yes, I was thinking that I feel like in this episode, especially,
Mhm.
I feel like what we're doing is like therapy, like healing ourselves through this discussion. And there's something about this being like public that
Yeah,
it is also therapy, because like I'm thinking, why is that? Why is that? I think it's because all of this sickness is about me not being able to express myself freely. So,
yeah,
I go to the yeah. I'm gonna say it to the entire world. Everyone can listen. Yes, yes, yes. Everyone can listen. There's no problem. There's no secrecy here.
yeah,
There's no secrecy here. As opposed to the Zionist cult that, you know, people see the soldiers being proud of what they're doing. Yes, that's true. But also there's a lot of like forbidding of saying certain things in inside the Zionist cult. It's like I can do an analogy of like a specific individual who is, very manipulative in the way that they behave, and sometimes it comes out in very like obvious ways that like, oh, like this person is completely, but they try to hide the way that they behave, like narcissists. Okay, we were talking about how the
yeah,
cult of Zionism is a cult of narcissism, and it's exactly the same thing, right? Narcissists, they manipulate who they manipulate, and they manipulate themselves, but in some sense everyone knows that they are narcissists and manipulative,
yeah,
because they see like certain things that they do.
yeah,
So we need to heal this, and the way to heal this is to put a light on everything. No secrecy. Everything is out in the open.
right.
We're talking about things in a very,
Yeah,
relaxed
the antidote,
manner.
the antidote to narcissism is full
Yes,
transparency,
exactly.
and then you're all right. That's who I am. That's what I think.
Yes.
You know this song, "What You Gonna Do About Me"? I like
Yeah.
this sentence. That's what I am. Like every time you say I'm Palestinian, it's like, what you gonna do about me? Like
Yeah.
to anyone. Some people can tell you, how can you dare say that you are Palestinian? And from the pro-Palestinian side, they will tell you this. And you're saying something that can piss off everybody.
So I have noticed that the vast majority of Palestinians that I met, whenever I tell them I'm also Palestinian, they go, "Ahlan wa sahlan."
Yeah.
That's what they say. Yes, welcome, welcome.
One thing that it was important to stretch out, that how less safe we are,
Yes,
and how less safe everyone are including the Zionists.
yes,
and how they completely act in a way that make themselves so unsafe, and they're acting as if they have to do it, while all the way there was option other way not to do it and to be more safe,
Yes.
and they choose the most violent option,
Yes.
and they still feel like they're victims and they have to do it, even though they also gaslight, because in many situations they show that they act from pure violence, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
And all these happy soldiers with you know, TikTok things, it's like they tell you we're acting from supremacy, we're acting from a place of impunity, we're
Yes.
acting from a place. It's not a place of someone weak, it's a place of someone with too much power.
Yes. Yes.
But they act as if they have no choice, and it's so fucked up, and it makes everyone so unsafe, and it makes, like the video you put that now you say, I don't want
Yes,
my family to
I was
die.
about to mention this. Yes.
Yeah, I don't want and it's so touching, you know, it's so simple and honest, and it's so true, you know.
Yes. So I look back at this video 1 year later, and I'm like, the only thing that I said there that was wrong was that I was being too optimistic and too naive. And
Yeah,
back when I put this video, like most of the, more good faith reactions that I got were something along the lines of, no, you're exaggerating, you're being too angry, you like none of this is going to happen. What? You said 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 dead, you're just lying. It's not a genocide, it's not too many people died, everything is just fighters, blah 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 blah. And now 1 year later, and I said that Zionists have a victim mentality, and I said stop pretending, and I said that it's going to make you unsafe, and I said all of these things, and in their mind, everything that I said was a lie or a mistake. Okay? And again, the only mistake that I made is that I underestimated how
right.
crappy everything is with Zionism. I
Yeah,
underestimated your
yeah.
level of insanity. I underestimated your cruelty, and I underestimated your detachment from reality. I underestimated the amount of violence and insanity that's going to ensue. That's the only mistake that I made.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say now there's gonna be 20,000 dead, and it
Yes,
sounds
and it
like
seemed like
huge.
such an exaggeration.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna see around like, you know,
It's
200,000 dead.
possibly 10 times that right now as we speak 1 year later. It's probably 10 times that. Maybe 7 times that. Maybe 7 times that. But like it's the official number is more than twice that, and the official number is a grave underestimation. And then and this is not over. This is not over. This is not close to being over. This is ongoing, and I don't know where and when it will stop. And the insanity is deeper and deeper and deeper. Like I I opened Facebook today. Statusim metzaitzim. It's like a Facebook page where they re-upload, like they take screenshots of other people's statuses on Facebook, and they put them up, and they kind of get all the credit. So, and it's like the most mainstream shit. Okay, it's like this is Israeli mainstream. And I go over a few posts, and I'm like, fuck, they're so fucking insane, bro. Like one girl is complaining that she got stuck without in outside Israel without possibility to come back because she got Tzav Shmone. Tzav Shmone is like the reserve, like the how would you say this in English? Like a notice that you have to come
Yeah, you
to
got
reserve
conscripted.
forces in the IDF. Okay.
Yeah.
IOF. I fuck you with. Anyway, so she really needs to come back to Israel and to give and to participate in the brave, struggle to defend Israel. She has Tzav Shmone. She has to come back to Israel. She has to cut her vacation short, and she has to come back to Israel. And she is upset with the Israeli airline Arkia that, being a capitalist corporation, raised their prices. They seized the opportunity to steal. Okay, so there were a lot of flights that were canceled back to Israel, including my flight personally, by the way. I had to find an alternative flight, and now I'm back in occupied Palestine. And Arkia, the Israeli airline, is not patriotic in the sense that it will. So they published that they will give Israelis the opportunity to come back if they have the Tzav Shmone, if they need to come back to the reserve forces, they will give them a cheap flight. So she came and she demanded a cheap flight, and then they told her, no, the flight is going to be 4 times more expensive than that. And they didn't care that she had Tzav Shmone, and she's complaining, okay? She's complaining that she couldn't go back and participate in the genocide. She couldn't come back fast enough. The levels
and you know what's also
insanity.
really, what's so disappointing to me too?
No.
Okay, this is a girl I don't know.
Yes.
But if I walk through the Facebook page of people I know, so little of them wrote something clear against the genocide.
Yes.
So little.
Yes.
Like a year to that, you would think some people would wake up.
No. No.
It's really weird. And here we're a proof. You can write and you don't get killed. Like, right? We're okay. So, like, why is the Israeli society so fucked up? I don't know.
Say that in Hebrew to your friends. Say that in Hebrew right now.
חברים, עכשיו אנחנו שנה לרצח העם בעזה, ויש כל כך הרבה אנשים שלא ניהלתי איתם שיחה כנה, ואני פשוט לא מבין איך שנה לתוך הדבר הזה, עדיין יש אנשים שלא מדברים, עדיין יש אנשים שלא קוראים לילד בשמו, וזה דפוק וזה חולה, ואני עושה את זה ואני עדיין מרגיש שאני לא עושה את זה מספיק, וזה פשוט עצוב לי ומאכזב מבחינת כל החברים שלי. מעט מאוד אנשים פתחו, והנה, אני הוכחה לזה שאפשר לדבר, וסופגים חרא, אבל לא קרה לי כלום. אז גם לכם לא יקרה כלום, להרבה מכם לפחות. אז יאללה, זה להציל את הנשמה של החברה שלנו, שכבר אי אפשר להציל, אבל לפחות את עצמכם. את החברה אי אפשר להציל, אבל לפחות את עצמכם. את הנשמה של עצמכם תצילו. זהו. I have to make more like this in Hebrew to tell them.
Yes. Yes.
So, you want to say what I said?
I think it's obvious. You said to Israelis who speak Hebrew, write something against the genocide, save your souls.
Yeah.
This is what you said. And I think that's a very powerful message. Okay, so I think this kind of wraps up what we wanted to say on this anniversary of the 7th of October attack. Okay, Elik, you have final words you want to say before we wrap up this episode?
I just, I don't know. I don't have words to describe the horror and the fear of the knowledge that it's a year. And
it's still ongoing. Still ongoing.
It's still ongoing. And I have some huge ocean of despair that is next to me, like, fuck, all our efforts didn't help, and I don't allow myself to go there, but want to say let's continue our efforts.
Yes.
And I want to thank you personally, because I think if I wouldn't met you and started doing what we do, I would have been far way behind. So where I am.
Yes, I feel the very same way. Like without you, I couldn't have done a quarter of what I did. So thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Elik. Thank you for I don't know how long, but it was very interesting, very healing, as we said. And I want to continue. I want to do more of this, no matter where we are. But I feel that there is a power in doing this from occupied Palestine. I feel like this matters in some sense, and I feel like there is much more to do in occupied Palestine. I feel like we can be brave and push the boundaries as much as we can and see what happens. And if worst comes to worst, we do what we were planning on doing for years anyway, and just leave to where it's safer and better.
Yeah. I think like when the time comes, we will feel it and we can do it.
Yes.
I don't know. I still wanna maybe it's an open question for me, but
Yes.
the next episode probably gonna be from occupied Palestine.
And all I'm saying is that as long as we are in occupied Palestine, let's do what needs to be done in occupied Palestine.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Okay,
Yes.
so thank you to the audience for keeping up with us for I don't know how fucking long. Tell us what you think about the question that we asked about the episode in Hebrew. Should we upload it? Should we try to put English subtitles on it? It's hard work, but maybe we can try. Thank you, Elik.
Thank you, Alon, my dear brother, my Palestinian brother, my Hebrew Palestinian.
Let's finish all the episodes like this. Thank you to all our Palestinian brothers.
Mhm. You know, they shouted in the protest here, in thousands, in our millions, we're all Palestinians.
In thousands, in our millions, we're all Palestinians.
Yeah.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.